All right. So is Wildgate still on there for free?
It is. How long? Let's see. We have a couple. Hey, Epic Store, if you could just load up. Thank you. Till January 8th at 8 a.m. So we got 2 days.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I better publish this tomorrow morning. All right. Hello and welcome everyone to the GGG Podcast, episode 106, recording on January 6th in 2026. Six. Is that a 666 thing? Is this the Devil's Show? I don't. What are the
I'd
rules?
like for it to be.
Yeah?
I don't know what I can do to make that happen, but I'm ready.
You got some little red horns in that office somewhere, I'm sure. All
I
right.
got a whole robe to do sacrifices with.
I'm Paul, and as always, I am joined by my co-host Phil. Happy New Year. I had a lovely break. I played lots of games that I'm excited to talk about, but also excited to get into the fresh 2026 news as we continue our gaming adventure through the year. But before we get into any of that, if you haven't already liked and subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do so. And if you're listening to the audio-only version on Spotify, follow us over there as well, or on Apple Podcasts or whatever your podcast downloading things are. We're on like 11 of them.
Your pod catcher,
yes,
so to speak.
Your podcatcher, as Meryl Streep said, the one with the P like that. Do you know what I'm referencing? It was like a COVID interview with Stephen Colbert and Meryl Streep, and she did like. Anyway,
when you said, "Do you know what I'm referencing?" I was going to say intercourse. Please,
yes. Also,
please
that's the reference behind the reference.
It's a thick reference.
Yes, exactly. All right, Phil. Did you have a good holiday break? Did you have a good New Year's? And did you have some good time to dig into any games, or were you consumed by family and friend activities?
Try as they might, family and friend activities were happening. That said, I was absolutely able to throw myself into Absalom. Which is it has quickly become one of my favorite games of 2025. It is deep, it is interesting, and it is just like the combat is a lot of fun to bust combos out on, and every character is so different. I've been mostly playing as Alondra, who's like this cool elf with a big sword. But then I started messing around with the other characters, and the last one that I tried, because I was like, can't be fun, is like this floating frog wizard, and I beat like the boss behind the boss using this character. So this game is great. It's a lot of fun. A lot of depth to it. So if you have the opportunity, check it out. And also, it's great if you're trying to get someone into couch co-op, a little bit deeper into games. It's a real fun beat 'em up together. Right
on. Anything else, or was that your sole focus?
I mean, I've been playing some Arc Raiders as well. I feel like that's kind of gonna. I'm saying this cockily. That's kind of always going to be in the rotation for a little while, where I'm just like, I got to go in and do my stuff. I'm having a lot of fun. One of my friends got it for Christmas, so I've been like guiding him through the opening levels and what to do.
Always fun. Yeah. Right on. I got into many things. I was not traveling this holidays, which was kind of nice, to be honest. But probably the one that's taken up the biggest amount of time is a game that I got for Christmas, and that is The Outer Worlds 2. So I finally really got a chance to sink my teeth into it. I had played the game before at a friend's place, but I hadn't gotten a chance to play my own game. And I probably put 20 hours into it, having a blast. I was in between getting Borderlands 4 and The Outer Worlds 2, and I'm so happy that I picked The Outer Worlds 2 because I know that Borderlands is going to give me that, looter shooter dopamine, but I just felt like the story was going to be really shallow. And as soon as that dopamine wears off, it's what is really there for me in the game? And with The Outer Worlds 2, it's just, it gives me a lot of things that I desire specifically to my gaming tastes, and you can really feel that it's made by Obsidian because it feels like Knights of the Old Republic 2, where it's like, this is your ship, and these are your companions, and you can improve your relationship with these companions and get them to do different things. And the flexibility of being able to approach different situations. Like in RPGs, I tend to be like a talker. I'm always like, yeah, persuade skill, let's go. And so like I have talked my way out of 3 major boss fights.
Hell yeah.
And they still give you the XP, and they still give you like the weapons that you would have gotten from defeating them. So
how do they do that in story? That they like drop their guns and like they're just done fighting?
I mean, you have to convince them to surrender. And there are certain situations that you have to like get everything right, where you had to prep everything. And like, there's other stuff of like, you just have to discover certain information by like hacking into their computer and like, finding things and stuff like that. And so for the last boss though, one of my companions is pissed at me that I did not fight them, and then I made them surrender. So, so we're gonna handle that. But anyway, had a ton of fun with that. My partner got a Switch 2 for Christmas, so I've played some Mario Kart. I tried out Donkey Kong as well, which very, very fun, but it definitely feels like a dopamine smash 'em game. And less of a like puzzle platformer kind of a thing. It's weird. It's good. But it's definitely feels like its own thing, and it feels like a bunch of like I'm just smashing and smashing and smashing and smashing, which I guess makes sense for Donkey Kong. And then
I feel like it gets puzzly by the end of it.
Okay. Well, I need to put more time.
Not the end of it, like just like a couple layers in, because then you're like, I gotta find this thing. How do I go smash to the ground to find it? Sure. And like you're doing a lot of searching and clue finding. But the beginning is just like you could just punch your way through this level.
Yeah, that's what I did. Much to your chagrin, I have been playing a lot of Rematch, and I.
Game's done.
And I got 2 of my friends to buy it. So now we have a full team of 3s. So that's awesome. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. And also, I did want to bring up, this was a very fun holiday game for my friends, particularly the ones I exclusively hang out with on Discord. And it's a game called Bronzebeard. And Bronzebeard is a free-to-play tavern, kind of like an Overcooked type esque game. It's not, the production value is not great. I think it came out in November of 2023, but the fact that it's free to play and the fact that it's a cooperative game up to 8 people, and that it was awesome because I actually had a group of 8 friends, and so it was a full party of 8 of us just running this tavern and running dishes back and forth, and it's really fun. It's for a free game. It's really hard to complain about some of its faults. So I had a lot of fun with it, and I kind of want to play some more tonight with some friends, so I might see if people are up for it. So yeah, but
very cool.
Lots of fun things. Let's get into this week's releases. There's one major release this week, not a lot of other stuff. Lots of ports coming out, but I didn't feel like those should be included. Star Rupture is releasing today, the day of this recording, January 6th, and it is a survival craft, like you're on a planet game, but it's kind of like Satisfactory, but if you throw in some Helldivers in that, there's like bugs and you have to defend your base and stuff like that. And then also it's cooperative, so it defines itself primarily as a cooperative base building game. So yeah, right up my alley.
It's available for $15.99 also, which is great.
Ooh, yes, that first week sale. So it is launching in early access, so I would expect that there would be some problems with the game, but it's a game right up my alley. Like I said, it feels like Satisfactory. It feels like Planet Crafter, if you've played those games before. So I might check it out, at such a low price. So any interest?
I think this developer also did Green Hell, which is a game that was kind of like The Forest or Sons of the Forest.
Sure.
Survival crafting, like you're on an island type game. seems pretty cool. Like that it exists. But this new game looks a lot better.
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
will.
not sure,
I will
so.
say the thing that sets this game apart is that the graphics do look very good. It looks like an Unreal Engine game, and which is like I reference like Planet Crafter. Planet Crafter, I love that game, but it looks like garbage if we're being honest. All right, let's get into the news, Phil. What's first up on the docket this year?
On the docket, we have The Witcher 3 getting DLC. Are you kidding me? The Witcher 3's been out for 100 years at this point.
For 10 years, I think.
I think it's been out since
the dawn of
Sega
time.
Master System.
I see.
No, this is very interesting. I kind of wonder if it has to do with The Witcher 4.
100%.
And it's, something to do with its imminent release or some bit you can play, some extra stuff you can play as Ciri that will lead to the events of The Witcher 4.
Yes.
That's got to be the case.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a cool birthday party for Geralt, like the Mass Effect 3 DLC, which also sounds great. So we'll see.
I hope you still play as Geralt. I really want The Witcher 4. Like, I want Ciri to be the protagonist in The Witcher 4. But it would be nice to have, like, a little DLC that bridges that gap. So, yeah, I mean, that's incredible. I wonder if this is at all... we've talked a lot about No Man's Sky and it getting all these updates because they're working on their new game. And so they're coming up with all these new systems. If there's like some sort of system that they've created for The Witcher 4 that they want to test out as like a DLC for The Witcher 3. So that is interesting. It should be noted, though, this is supposedly going to be a paid DLC. There has been a number of like free updates and stuff for The Witcher, several free updates and whatnot. But this, similar to like Blood and Wine, is a paid DLC that we will be paying for. Or I will be, because The Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time.
I mean, I trust them at this point to give us a solid thing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Take my money. I'm straight up Fry over here. All right. Pressing right along, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora has been doing well over the holidays. Been selling well. It's been on sale across all the major stores. I think it's still on sale on the PlayStation Store. Although Fire and Ash, its newest DLC that's tied to the movie that just came out, that is not on sale. But you can pick up the base version of Frontiers of Pandora, I think, for $20 on PlayStation. I think it's no longer on sale on Steam because I think the Steam sale has officially ended. But yeah, I mean, this is great. We saw that their player numbers jumped from the low hundreds to up to 12,000 players on Steam. And like, that's fantastic. It's amazing what a movie can do to titillate an audience.
It's surprising to me that you have not played the Avatar game.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I was the one who was like, it's pretty good. It's pretty fun. I'm not really into Avatar. And then you, Paul, asked me to go see the Avatar movie, and we did. So why don't you play Avatar? It's like more movie.
I'm probably going to. I just have like a laundry list of other things. But at $20, it's hard to be like, no, I'm not gonna get that. So yeah, I don't.
Yeah, it's like a Far Cry game on an alien planet for $20. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So like when you were talking about, I was definitely curious, but at $20, it seems like a very good price, especially because the third person update is free. So you can play the game that way now. So I'll probably pick it up. I probably will. So very, very good. All right. What's up next?
Up next, we have 007, James Bond,
Yes.
The First Light. It's getting delayed.
Oh, the first delay.
That's great because their Xbox event last year, the game did drop down to about 4 frames during the giant plane crash and takeoff and fight scene. So that's something that maybe they should put back in the oven. It was due, I believe, for a May release?
It was due for March
27th.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was due for March. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's something we called out immediately. I think that was an episode that we did directly after the state of play that we watched. And both of us were very much on the same page of like, wow, that looked kind of not good. like not ready to be shown at all.
Well, I remember like timidly before the show got started, we were just sort of like talking about what was going on, like, you know, how it looked. I was like, yeah, it looked like fun. Like it definitely feels Hitman inspired with some more story. That seems cool. And then you're like, but the plane crashed. And I was like, yeah, are you kidding me? The plane crashed? What the hell is going on? Trees popping in and out of existence.
Like not every game needs particle effects. Maybe.
Yeah. And I feel like that game, maybe you also don't need. Like, it feels like you're bridging the gap between Uncharted and Hitman.
Yeah.
And I don't know that those two need to be bridged. Maybe that's the interesting about it, but
I somewhat agree with that. I just I don't know how you make a James Bond game if you're not going to do that then. I don't know how you do it. So I don't know what the alternative is. All right. Well, not a lot there. Okay. So we've been talking about Arc Raiders. We've brought this up on the show before, but we got some confirmation actually from Embark that Embark has confirmed that there is behavioral matchmaking. Now, you may have seen this scrolling through the internet during your holiday break or whatever you've been doing. But I want to get a little bit more specific here in that it was always a factor in matchmaking, but they have confirmed that in a recent update, although they did not specify which update that was, that it is a bigger factor than it used to be. So we had our suspicions that may be a thing, and that was true, but now it's really a thing. If you're not trying to, if you're a friendly on Arc Raiders, stick to your guns or don't stick to your guns. Sorry.
Put your guns away.
Put your guns
hello
in the holster.
So some of the things that they look at when you are playing the game is like if you're giving items away, if you're shooting at people, obviously, and I think also mic usage is a part of that. Maybe it is the causality of people who don't say friendly get shot because they're approaching you with a gun typically. So I don't know if all those things correlate, but I definitely noticed that like when I meet people and hand out cool things that I found, I tend to I haven't really had that many games. I've been shot out once by another person in the past 2 weeks. So pretty cool.
Have you been mostly playing solo or have there been full team?
I've been doing some duos, and what I'm interested in is what a 3-person team would be like. I do hear that what you do in your 3-person games affects you in your solo queuing as well, so that is something to keep in mind. I probably have extremely peaceful lobbies because I don't really play a lot of 3-player, and 3-player is where the money hits the mouth, if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've still... I think the last time I played, I was doing a lot of 3s, and every time it was combat. Every single time. And I've had success and not success in that. So, I don't know. Honestly, it just really depends on whether I go into an Arc Raiders match prepared for combat, for PvP combat. Because I'm forgetting, maybe it's not the Arpeggio. It's the Torrente or whatever, the LMG gun. It's that gun for me is that's the PvP gun. That's where I've had the most success. But I think I've only killed 10 or 11 raiders the entire time I've played. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. What do I like the Stitcher, the old classic Stitcher, just loaded up with a bunch of mods. Although I do remember there's a great story we just finished. It was you, me, and a friend of yours fighting a bombardier. So this big ground arc that has little spotters and is shooting missiles everywhere. This whole big fight, we just barely killed it, and we're kind of getting ready to leave, and this dude runs up and starts shooting at you, and I switch to the Torrente. We see him running through the woods, and we all just unload on him, kind of expecting a full team, and it was just one player. And I remember we walked around and what were you doing? You're by yourself.
Yeah, I've had interesting situations where I have encountered one player when I'm loading in as a trio, and I thought maybe it's just like it prioritizes trio against trio matchmaking, but in some instances it will drop a single player in there. So
maybe if you're a real douche canoe, they put like if you really shoot people immediately, they're like go to the threes by yourself. Look, dude, enjoy.
Learn your lesson. All right, let's press right along. Some Splitgate news. Splitgate has been struggling since its relaunch. Obviously, it was way in the news last year where Splitgate 2 was supposed to come out, and then it did terribly. Nobody was playing it, and so they took it down, and then they said, we're going to do a relaunch, and now it's not called Splitgate 2. It's called Splitgate Arena
Reloaded.
Arena Reloaded. So now it sounds like a phone game, and they have been. I will, to their credit, they have been updating the game, with more content, and they have been catering things a little bit more. So the game seems like it has been getting better, but it has really just been struggling to find a player base. And reportedly on Steam, it has less than 1,000 concurrent Steam players. So, it's still possible that they're doing okay on Xbox, that they're doing okay on PlayStation. But I think games like Battlefield and Arc Raiders are really, and like even to some extent like Marvel Rivals, those games are pulling time away from games like Splitgate, which is a little unfortunate. I will say I have played a good chunk of the game. I do like the game, but it's not really a grind that I'm going to go back to unless I have other friends playing it. And for me, it's like, my competitive shooter is the finals. And I just think the finals is better. And so if I'm going to play a competitive shooter, I'm going to play, that game. But I don't know.
It's an interesting thing because I feel like I also really liked Splitgate 1, and it felt like Halo continued. Like it felt like the spiritual successor, picking up the reins and having some Halo great old PvP.
Yeah.
That said, two things. First of all, you said the name does sound like a mobile game. It absolutely does. Like Splitgate is so clean. Splitgate 2, really clean. You know what you're getting. More Splitgate. This does sound like the MOBA that they tried to make after Splitgate's enormous success. And yeah, ultimately there are so many other games asking for our attention and so many other games that are giving us better rewards for that attention.
Yeah.
That sadly, I feel like the management over at Splitgate, like someone passed the reins or someone was brought in because they're like, oh, this person can really ramp up interest in the game, and it just is not working. Like from their early launch to, I guess they were, beta period, alpha period.
Yeah.
They've just not been hitting it.
I mean, they need to, I feel like their relaunch, which was, I think it was earlier December or something like that, or maybe, I don't remember exactly when the relaunch happened, where they officially like changed the name and like got out of season 0 and now into season 1 or whatever. But like they need to do something that really incentivizes, like they need to give you a battle pass for free or something.
Yeah.
Or like, I understand you got to bring in money. It's a free to play game. So like give players, like if you join this month, you get half of the battle pass. So you can progress the battle pass 50% of the way. And then if you want to pay for the rest of the battle pass, you can, but just give players something to incentivize them to get, because you need players on the servers right now. That is the only way the game is going to grow. So, because I feel like we know about it because we played Splitgate 1, but that's the only reason, other than we saw, the guy with the baseball bat get up on stage and make an ass of himself. So, which is like, I hate to put the failure of the game on just him, because I don't think that's necessarily the only problem that's going on, but that was just such a terrible way to launch that. Like, so and I bet he just thought he was being funny. It was really just the hat. Like, I get you coming in here with the cocky energy and everything, but yeah. So anyway,
we're living in, I think, those types of things, people are trying to figure out what to do at an E3 or an award show, and that energy from early 2000s and Monster Energy the drink is not it.
No, it's not, and he did not realize that, and I think it's kind of a shame, just because, again, like, I do think that the gameplay is solid. It feels like somewhere in between Halo and Call of Duty. And even though it's copying both of those games, it comes together to feel semi-unique in its own way. So I hope the game recovers. But you know me, I'm always rooting for failing games. Like, I wanted Concord to continue. So,
well, I've got some great news for you if you're rooting for a failing game. Anthem officially shuts down its servers. That's right. What was going to redefine the entire video games industry has finally stepped down from the throne that we all put it up on. You know, we've had thousands of good hours of gameplay, thousands of unforgettable experiences with your friends, running around in mech suits. And, you know, they gave us more than just the 4 mech suits that they advertised. They gave us so much more. Of course, this is from the universe where they didn't run the Large Hadron Collider and everything is good. In our current universe, this is stepping down in shame. It's just a big old raspy end to a big old fart. So that is my poetry about Anthem and shutting down its servers. You have feelings about Anthem, Paul.
I do. Did you play it when it came out? Yeah. So, like, very flawed game, but I felt like the bones of the game were fantastic. Like, the gameplay itself was fantastic. It's Iron Man meets Destiny, and it, like, to me, I preferred that game. Like, Destiny is fine, but again, the Destiny gameplay is just Halo cranked a couple notches more.
Halo with a little bit of fantasy. Yeah.
Exactly, but it's like Anthem, like, the mechanics felt good. The mechanics felt good when you were sprinting and you got the thrusters coming out of your back. Or you can fly, but you can't fly forever, so you have to balance that out. Or you have different classes, and, like, this one can hover as opposed to, like, this other one that's more like a tank. And so, like, all of the gameplay itself, I thought was awesome. I thought some of the mission design was not so awesome. But if we're just talking about the basic Diablo-esque, like, here's some enemies.
Moment to moment.
Yeah. I thought that the gameplay was incredible. Where the game faltered was there was not any content. The store was a mess / didn't exist when the game first came out. So it's just like, this is a live service with no store or incentive to keep playing. Like, the meta didn't exist. And then, like, did I need a 5th class? Not necessarily, but it would have been nice. It just feels like there were so many. EA has fumbled with so many, like, online service games. They stumbled with Battlefront. I think it was part of the reason they released that Star Wars Squadrons game, and they were like, we're putting out one update for it, and then we're never touching it again, because we're just trying to move this product. So I just feel like the servers and the lack of content ruined what could have been a great game. And the reason I'm sad that it's, you know, over, I don't know, maybe they could sell the IP or something, but it is just like the core gameplay felt better than Destiny. It felt better than Borderlands. You know, I just felt like it was more satisfying, and it was in a more interesting universe, even though the universe was a bit hokey.
There was so much, like, from when you're kind of in the hub area, like, experiencing it in first person. There was a lot of really cool concepts there.
Yeah.
One of the Reddit posts on Anthem the game, I think the last major one, from Rob Ragiel, is One Last Flight around Bastion. It's him just sort of flying around and underneath it he put, I enjoyed it till the end. I have lots of good memories. It was an honor, freelancers, for the Legion of Dawn. Which is, you know, I'm definitely bummed for all the people who really enjoyed this game. I consider myself one of the people who fought for it when it first came out. I was like, no, this can be really, really good. But then EA and BioWare, I feel like, really did abandon it pretty quickly. And if someone else were to pick up the reins and make this game today, I feel like this would be a really great, like, indie company could make an Anthem-like game that would be amazing. Or, like, not BioWare, you know?
Yeah, somebody buy it. Somebody buy it. Sony, buy it. Your online game failed. Like, see if you could take this game from the ashes. And like, to me, EA abandoned it because they forced it out before it was ready. The servers were a hot mess. Half the time you went to log in when the game first came out, you were sitting in a freaking server loading screen and not playing the game. And then when you finally beat the campaign, which was not that long, you'd be like, okay, what else am I supposed to do? And there wasn't anything else to do other than, well, you can collect 2 collectibles in each section of the map. And it's like, okay. So I wish better for this game. Obviously it's sad that it's ending, but maybe the silver lining is that because they're closing down the servers, EA, especially now that they're part of the huge Saudi conglomerate, might sell the IP to somebody else who might be interested in picking it up. Because I will say there was a generation of Gen Z gamers that like rediscovered Anthem because the EA store was selling it for like $4.99 at some point. So and the servers were fixed by that point as well. So
you can play it with all the other 6 folks still playing Anthem. Should we move on to the main topic?
Let's do it. Let's get in there.
2026.
Woo!
WTF.
Excellent title for the main topic.
Yeah. 2026 is here. We made a lot of predictions and we had a lot of expectations for this year. I feel like we did pretty well in terms of the things we called out. That said, what are you looking forward to in 2026? What are you worried about in 2026? What are you questioning or what are you interested in 2026?
I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to like hearing some news for Intergalactic, possibly hearing some more news for Wolverine, which is I believe is supposed to come out this year, right? Wolverine.
It's got a tentative fall release date.
Okay, so I'm excited for like some big news on the Sony first party games. I'm also excited to see if Nintendo can keep cranking out its games like it has been doing. I don't know that it's going to be able to do that. What I'm tentative and worried about is kind of a I don't know. It's kind of like I'm worried about Grand Theft Auto. And I'm not worried that it's going to be a bad game. It's not going to be a bad game. It may not be a masterpiece, but I know it's not going to be a bad game. I'm concerned about the pricing that Grand Theft Auto is going to release at. I think that Take-Two and Rockstar are getting increasingly greedy. I think that there's a possibility a standard edition of Grand Theft Auto could release at $100. And they call themselves a premium game or something like that. And I think that people are going to buy it anyway. But after they do that, I think there's going to be a financial shift in the gaming industry where we're going to see prices across the board go up. Where a Switch, the starting edition, $600. PlayStation, $600. PlayStation Pro, $800. You want a new controller, $100. Like that kind of stuff. I'm very concerned with RAM prices because of all the AI data centers buying them up. And so I would love for other companies. I know that NVIDIA, something I don't think we had a chance to talk about, but NVIDIA talked about how they've decreased their graphics card production because they're
for consumer use.
Yeah, exactly. And because they're putting more into AI. So I think that sucks. And I think, look, NVIDIA is a huge company, one of the largest companies on the stock market. But I think that if NVIDIA is going to tone down their production, I think another company needs to step up and make graphics cards. And there are, obviously Radeon, AMD, that's their main rival. They're not as big as NVIDIA is, but I think we could see a transition where people are going toward Radeon cards because NVIDIA cards are going to be insane. And that doesn't really seem to, from what their people are saying, it's not their focus anymore. So I think there's going to be a shift in the industry. I don't think it's going to happen soon, but I think toward the end of the year we might start to see that happen, and especially if we see Grand Theft Auto do. I'm also concerned about AI integration in Grand Theft Auto. If I'm being honest. So that was more like negative things than positive. so sorry to hand it to you there. But.
No. I think those are all valid things to be worried about.
Right.
And I think that there's a lot that I'm not necessarily looking forward to. Like, people have asked me a couple times over the past week, like, what are you looking forward to game-wise in 2026?
Yeah.
And my list is pretty short, but I would like to go over it because I feel like there's some stuff on there that we can get excited about.
Yes.
And things that are like... I know that there's going to be a couple of great games this year that I'm going to get absolutely obsessed with that I don't know exist yet. But of the things that I know exist that I'm pretty sure are coming out this year... the list goes as follows, and the first on my list is always Crimson Desert. That game looks really, really fun.
Yes, it does.
It definitely, at first, it has looked too good to be true, but a lot of buzz from people who paid our preview events and people who spent a lot of time with it are saying that, like, no, this is what it is. Like, the game is sort of like I've heard like a magical Far Cry. I don't know why Far Cry is coming up so much. Maybe because I heard about this recently. But it's got that same sort of like you're going through the world and doing lots of stuff that is fun to keep doing.
Right.
Control Resonant looks really, really fun. I didn't like the last Control game, but this one seems a little bit less focused on gunplay and a little bit focused on like magic and hitting people with a big hammer. Mm-hmm. Blood of the Dawnmaker looks really sick. That is a vampire game where you're like a daywalker. It's a lot of ex-Witcher devs, which also seems pretty cool. Mm-hmm. That may not come out this year, doesn't have a release date, but it is intended for this year. That Dusk Bloods game from Software is supposed to be coming to Switch 2.
Yeah.
I'm specifically avoiding Grand Theft Auto 6. I'm sure it'll be fine. A lot of people are going to be upset. Wolverine is allegedly fall 2026. That's great. Mugenics, for the people who brought you Super Meat Boy and The Binding of Isaac, is a like sort of deck building roguelike game where you breed cats to have a certain outcome. Mm-hmm. On the Nintendo Switch, Pokemon Pokopia, which is like an Animal Crossing Stardew Valley Pokemon game where you play as a Ditto who looks like a person, and then you can like steal different abilities from different Pokemon to like help you build and farm. As well as invite them to your camp.
I got to tell my partner about that one. Oh, I didn't know that existed. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh, and then Saros, the kind of sequel, spiritual successor to Returnal. Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff allegedly coming out this year. I'm very excited about all those. Supposedly Witchbrook, which is like a follow-up to Stardew Valley, where you play the cute little witch in a sort of like 2.5D pixel thing.
Oh, okay.
But that game has been worked on since Stardew Valley came out, so who knows if it'll come out this year. It's just expected to.
Hey, maybe we'll get the Chocolatier come out this year. That would be
Haunted Chocolatier. Yeah. I mean, if they shadow drop that, if Jeff Keighley walks out onto Summer of Games and goes, "It's here, Haunted Chocolatier," just like was it the game that I didn't finish because it was too hard and it wasn't fun anymore.
Elden Ring.
Silk Song. That too. Question marks for me this year.
Yeah.
Highguard is supposed to come out in 2 weeks.
Yeah, what's been going on with
3
that?
Weeks? Nothing. They haven't said jack diddly donk.
Is it because when they showed the trailer, everyone everywhere rolled their eyes?
Yeah. Unless you are really into MOBAs, I don't think anyone wants to play a MOBA from the third-person point of view. And I think that most people who play MOBAs don't want to play a MOBA from the third-person point of view.
I think most people who don't want to play MOBAs but really actually like MOBAs play Overwatch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hopefully we get some news about Intergalactic.
Yeah.
The new Naughty Dog game.
That'd be fantastic.
Excited to see what their like fun take will be. You had some news on Elder Scrolls and Bethesda.
Oh,
and
yes.
Good old Pete Hines.
My favorite, Todd Howard.
Wait, why did I say Pete Hines?
I don't know. Yeah, the jacket himself. Toddy, my man. He recently stated that Bethesda's main focus which has a lot to do with the success of the Fallout TV show. Is their main focus is now Fallout as like being their number one IP, because now Fallout is known by people who do not play the video games, but people who are just like watching the show and are getting introduced to it for the very first time. Which I get that, I do, and they should be working on a new Fallout game. But we got Fallout 4 not too long ago, and we have not gotten anything to do with Elder Scrolls 6. And I'm kind of at the point now where I don't think they know if they're ever going to release that game. Where they're at the point of like, we're never going to live up to how good Skyrim was when Skyrim came out. Because like, I don't think this is a hot take at all. I think the Elder Scrolls Skyrim is one of the best games of all time. It's a top 10 game, if not a top 5 game. And so it's like, maybe they're just too intimidated to release the next version of that. But yeah, that's the game I want to play. I love you. I've talked about this in the podcast before. It's like, I love the Fallout TV show. I'm watching the new season right now, but I think that the Fallout TV show is better than the Fallout games for me personally. I just don't, I have tried playing both Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 multiple times, and I never get past like 4 hours in either of them just because I lose interest. It's not a world, which is weird to say because as a TV show, it is a world that interests me. So maybe it's just like the aesthetic of how bad the game looks like really bothers me, which I guess is a little shallow, but like there's just a lot of people out there.
That's part of games though.
It is.
We are supposed to be excited about the way that they look, the way that they immerse us in an area. And like Fallout 3, when that came out, that was so fully immersive and so beautiful. And now it's rough to look at. Similarly, Fallout 4 does not look great.
Yeah, even they re-released Fallout 4 this Christmas. And it's like, it still is like, it's fine. But, you didn't give this the Oblivion treatment. Where it's like, okay, we're going to re-render everything in Unreal Engine. Like, that would have been a step in the right direction. They didn't do that. They're just like, no, we're going to turn this knob. We're going to make it so you can have the resolution one notch higher.
We're going to up-res it.
Yeah, they just up-resed it. Yeah. And like, that's not... they've done that so many times with Skyrim. So, I'm concerned about the Elder Scrolls 6. I'm now at the point where I don't know if it will ever come out. Like, we might be joking about it like we have joked about Half-Life 3, and like it'll just be one of those games that just it never happens. So
I mean, I think it's possible that they kind of like let it slip out at some, like they make something that is not very good and it just comes right to Game Pass and they like pump it up for a month or two before it comes out, and then afterwards they never speak about it again and they're just dug all in on Fallout. That would be wild. But Bethesda also doesn't have the same name cachet that it used to. It's not the art house of gaming. It's not something giving you something that is going to be very exciting. It is just the people who made Skyrim 35 times and also Fallout. So yeah, I don't know. We're in a pretty interesting spot with that. I would love to see the Fallout game, but guys, you gotta make Elder Scrolls 6. That's
you
crazy.
Gotta, like, that's what we really want. So I don't know.
I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I was at the E3 event where they announced that there was going to be eventually Elder Scrolls 6. And they had more to show for Elder Scrolls 6. They showed the map, they showed like, the video that we've all seen. And for Starfield, they just had a title that said Starfield. And they went and made a full Starfield, and we have seen no more of Elder Scrolls 6, which is bananas to me.
Yeah. Well, I think they also thought Starfield was going to be a much bigger success than it was. And, it is a success if you're trying to play Star Wars Genesis, the full Starfield mod, where you can play as Jar Jar Binks, and you actually look very good. So,
really?
It looks really... If you've... The latest updates that have come out for that mod, it's like it. Why are these people working for Bethesda? You know, it's just woo.
Well, it'll probably get taken down if it's good. It's embarrassing to Bethesda, but yeah, no. That is an interesting thing. Last point that you have noted here is PlayStation 6,
yes.
which I do feel like we are on the precipice of getting a PlayStation, which, going back to our previous point, it would be wild if Bethesda skipped 2 generations of games, of consoles. But PlayStation 6, the prices of consoles in general probably going up due to the RAM shortage, due to all of the political things that are affecting the cost of everything. So... yeah, what's your take here?
So I think that typically, on average, I think the PlayStation life cycle has been about 8 years, and so like that would put the next PlayStation coming out in 2028, which would probably mean that we would need to have an announcement by next year or maybe even this year, and I think if things don't settle down. We could be waiting until like 2030 for the PlayStation 6, which I don't think is good. I think that's too long, and it's not because I'm just itching to drop another $600 or $800 on a console. That's not why, but it's that you're seeing games that are not they need better hardware to run on. Or you have a lot of games that are being developed on computers, like all games are, and in the dev office, they're using NVIDIA 5060s and 5080s to develop these games, and then they're having to port it to a PlayStation 5, which a PlayStation 5 is still, I think, a great deal for what you're getting, but it can't do that. And so I think gaming will, as far as like graphics and that kind of a thing, is going to be held back by this. But I think kind of a trend this generation in general has been that graphics are not as important as they used to be to people. Or they might be important to people, but it's not enough to get them not to buy something. Or like, because okay, if this guy's a premium gamer, then he's going to be playing it on PC, and he's going to have the ultimate graphics card. So, but that's still it's kind of like we'll use the example of 007 First Light. Like that game is coming out on all platforms. It was shown on PlayStation State of Play, so that's like its primary home. So, but it's just like it was probably running like that because it's running on a PlayStation, and in the development office they had it running on a supercomputer, and so they have to figure out how do they get it to work with this technology that's now 6 years old, and that even when it came out was not the peak of technology in 2020. So it's a little concerning. I am worried about RAM prices, and I think that RAM is just the beginning of the parts that are going to shoot up in price. Like similarly with graphics cards, and there's going to be other things that are going to be problems. So I am a little pessimistic about this, but I am happy. We still have good games coming out. We still have Intergalactic coming out. Naughty Dog has always been able to squeeze every ounce of processing out of every PlayStation they have ever released a game on. So I have confidence it's going to look fantastic. And Wolverine. And, just last little bit is I'm disappointed with Microsoft, going full multi-platform. I just think it doesn't incentivize Sony to really pump games out like they used to. And so I think that's just bad for the industry in general. Like if you're a capitalism fan, the whole point of capitalism is you have competition so you get a better product. And now that it's really just Sony and Nintendo and, I guess an Xbox if you want another thing to put in front of your TV, but like
if you want a great dust collector, I got the console for
exactly.
you? Well, I think there's one other interesting thing that will happen this year, and that is the release of the Steam box, the sort of like home console for Steam.
Yeah, man, but I'm worried about that now because like they already said it's not going to be console pricing, and now with all of the prices shooting up, it's like this thing's going to be $1,200. Mm-hmm. Like I'd rather just pull my desktop out and plug it into my TV. Like what are we talking about?
That is the thing, is I feel like that is we are going to see what that pricing is going to do, and I feel like all it's going to do is yank the Overton window of video game pricing upward.
Yeah.
And we're going to be paying, granted, we're going to be paying like, you know, the new extended price of everything because everything has gone up in price. Games will not be immune to that. But I think this will be like a strong stand in the first direction if people want to get the Steam box, which does seem to me like it will be a little bit more of the future. I feel like more people are leaning towards PC, and this is a great like step in that direction for folks.
Yeah.
We're in a pretty interesting time. I guess the only other thing that I'm interested to see this year is the proliferation of AI. I'm like cautiously interested, and if that will lead to like some cool game stuff, like we use AI in a way that makes the experience better without destroying someone's job, which is almost an impossible scenario. But that, I mean,
it is possible though. It's just people are not going to want to pay for it. You know.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that, and I think graphics technology will, because we've been wondering like what that leap is going to be for graphics between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. The big jump wasn't really there, and I think
it was just loading was the big jump.
That's just loading was the big jump. I think that a lot of the graphics stuff will change with depending on how AI is used, and like if they could do little bits of up-resing and up-processing and all this stuff, that will be a game changer. But also it might wipe us out from the planet because we are starving ourselves and destroying all of our water. So, fitty.
All right, well, that's a good place to leave it. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for episode 106, the first episode of 2026. We will be back next week to talk about all the fantastic gaming news. We appreciate you out there. Hope everybody's having a happy new year, despite our doomed forecasts for the predictions for this year. But stay positive.
The future.
Stick with your resolutions. Do what you want to do, my guys. All right. Peace out, Phil. Thanks. Good to see you after the break. And we'll see you next time. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.